Hey, what's up, guys? Just got back from seeing Guardians of the Galaxy, newest movie from Marvel Studios. I have to say, about 3 years ago when they announced they were doing the Guardians of the Galaxy as their next movie, I was a little surprised, but I was also excited. I was a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan back in the late 70s. A lot of people weren't even familiar. There still aren't. If you would talk to even some of the hardcore comic book fans, they're not familiar with those characters, and certainly the general public won't be familiar with any of these characters. Unlike the Avengers, like a proven commodity. You've got cartoon shows, action figures made of these characters. These are well-known, almost household names now, especially since after the Avengers came out and was one of the biggest movies ever. But I have to say that Marvel Studios movies after the Avengers have really disappointed me. Now, this is my opinion, but I thought Iron Man 3 and Thor 2 were just terrible movies. And my faith had been shattered a little bit in the Marvel Studios. And, I had to think that maybe Guardians of the Galaxy, they would screw it up or no one would want to go see it. The characters aren't well known. It's not a proven commodity. It's kind of a big risk for Marvel Studios to take. But let me just say, after seeing the movie, I'm glad they took that risk. Basically, to date, my favorite comic book movie had been Man of Steel, a DC. I just love the way they treated the universe. And you got to see a lot of Krypton, and you got to see like utter mass destruction of what would happen when the Kryptonians and basically Earth collided, and that's what happened. But Guardians of the Galaxy takes it to the next level, and it's not just about the action and the CGI, which the CGI is some of the best ever for any movie. I saw it in the 3D. I didn't see it in IMAX or anything, but I did see it in the real 3D. And I have to say, you owe it to yourself to see it in 3D because it makes the CGI visuals really pop. And, they just did an incredible job. Now, if you're not familiar with the new Guardians of the Galaxy, the incarnation of the team, I wasn't really that familiar with some of the characters. I knew basically Rocket Raccoon and Groot, but I wasn't overly versed in those storylines. I had, read an issue or two. I think they were introduced in 2008. Like I said, I was more of a hardcore nostalgic fan of the original team, which, had Vance Astro and Starhawk, Charlie 27, Martin X, Yondu. And actually, Yondu is the only original character that they bring to the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which I was really excited about that. He's played by Michael Rooker. But anyway, the new Guardians of the Galaxy is Star-Lord, played by Chris Pratt. Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana, I think is her name. I might be butchering her name, but she plays Lieutenant Uhura in the new Star Trek movies by J.J. Abrams. Which I think she does a really good job in those. But I totally hate those movies, but I thought she was perfect as Gamora. She's like an alien, genetically enhanced assassin. There's the wrestler Dave Bautista from the WWE who plays Drax the Destroyer. I saw some of the critics' reviews saying that he's kind of the weak link, and of course he is. He's not an actor. He's really not an actor, but he plays Drax perfectly. They're not familiar with the Drax character from the comic books, who takes everything literally. He's hell-bent on revenge, and that's exactly how he's played in the movie. That's exactly how the character's written. Basically, they transferred that character from the comic book to the movie screen. Now, the showstoppers and the scene stealers are Rocket Raccoon, who is totally CGI, and Groot, which is basically a Rocket Raccoon's bodyguard, so to speak, which is a giant like plant creature, voiced by Vin Diesel. Rocket Raccoon's voiced by Bradley Cooper, which you can barely tell. If I didn't see the credits and know it was Bradley Cooper, if I hadn't kept up on the movie, I couldn't have placed that voice because he did alter his voice to make it a little harder, a little bit more edgier. for the character, which the character of Rocket Raccoon in the movie is total badass. He's a weapons expert. Here he is, this little, 2.5 foot, raccoon-looking alien, genetically enhanced alien creature. But he looks harmless, but he's a mean, tough character. Weapon expert. He's basically the tactician of the team, and they could make a movie just with Rocket Raccoon and Groot. And the movie would probably be the second best movie Marvel's ever made. So I'm just saying that's how cool these characters are brought to life in this movie. One thing I really liked about the movie is it totally takes place in another galaxy, outer space. Earth is only in there for about 3 minutes. I was loving it. I hate when they ground the stories just in Earth. That Green Lantern made a huge mistake. They should have had the whole entire movie in outer space. If the people that produced Green Lantern could look in the future and watch Guardians of the Galaxy and go back, they should have made their movie more like Guardians of the Galaxy. And the same thing goes with Fox Studios and Fantastic Four, which has cosmic-based villains. Why didn't they treat it more like Guardians of the Galaxy? So I really wish Marvel Studios would take over Fantastic Four, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So anyway, enough about those other movies. As far as Guardians of the Galaxy, like I said, it's 3 minutes on Earth. You see a little backstory about Peter Quill, who is Star-Lord. You see him as a child with his mother dying. Then he's abducted by aliens, and that's it. You don't hear anything more about him. About what happened in that, they don't drag on some origin story. You're whisked away to the future, about 20 years more in the future. You're in a totally distant alien galaxy, alien worlds that blow the worlds of Star Wars away. Let's just put it that way. This movie has elements. I mean, basically, this movie is, if you could describe the movie to the general public, it's Star Wars, Star Trek, Avengers all rolled into one, but even better than that. So anyway, you're introduced to the main villain early on. The Kree Empire has a general named Ronan the Accuser. He's straight out of the comic book. They treat him just like in the comic book. He's a man of few words, but he's hell bent on destroying the Xandarians, which is the race, the home planet of Xandar, which is the Nova Corps, which I'm hoping they introduce Nova, like the Nova soldiers with the suit and helmet and everything, in the Guardians 2. But anyway, he's hell-bent on destroying that world, so he reaches out to Thanos to help him. Thanos says, bring me the orb, which we later find out is an infinity gem. Yes, I'm gonna ruin the movie for you. I've got some spoilers, but oh well, go see the movie. You're still gonna enjoy it even if you know this stuff. But yeah, they kind of have a little backstory about the infinity gem. They touched upon it, but they don't like walk you through it. They don't make it obvious. Basically, this movie isn't made for the general public. This movie is made for the hardcore fans that really know what's going on in the Marvel Universe, and that's what I applaud them for. They really went 100% with this movie. They took a risk. They put it out there. It's totally, like I said, the story is totally another galaxy. It's alien races. They went full blown cosmic in this movie, and that's one of the reasons why the movie's so good. But a lot of people were griping that Thanos isn't the main villain. He's kind of behind the scenes, like the Emperor in Star Wars. He's definitely gonna be the main baddie in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But for this movie, it's Ronan the Accuser. I actually love the villain. I was always a big fan of the villain in the comic books. I absolutely love the villain. He's not really evil. He's just he's a little like General Zod. He's just out to preserve his empire. And he just hates his mortal enemy. So anyway, there's some cool interactions between Ronan and Thanos. They don't really trust each other. Thanos is real condescending to him, and Ronan is a very powerful character, and he doesn't appreciate Thanos calling him boy and all of that stuff. So you'll see what happens. There's some Infinity Gem stuff that goes on between those two, and it's really cool. They really take it straight out of the comic book. I don't know what else to say. So, there's some more references to some more obscure characters in the universe. They bring Yondu in, who's they make him different than the Yondu in the original Guardians back in the 70s. This guy, he's played by Michael Rooker. He's got a few scenes that are really good. In the original Guardians, he's an archer. He's a blue alien. He's got a big mohawk. That would be kind of hard. I mean, he's got a giant mohawk in the comic book. They play the character different. They make him more like a space pirate, but the character is entertaining. I love his weapon, the way they made it. He's still an archer, but he just doesn't use a bow. But I love the way the weapon that he does, and he's total badass. And he leads a team called the Ravengers. And I mean, there's just so much I could say about this movie. I could go on and on. Basically, this is the Star Wars of the Marvel. This is the Star Wars of the Marvel universe. There's even a ship. Peter Quill's spaceship, even better than the Millennium Falcon, right up there rivaling the Millennium Falcon. There's just so many cool visual effects. They just blew the budget on just kick-ass CGI, and you definitely have to see this movie in 3D. I couldn't imagine seeing the movie now in just watching it regular 2D after seeing it in 3D. The visuals will just blow you away. So, I mean, I could go on and on for about an hour about the movie. I give the movie a 10 out of 10. Marvel might have screwed themselves. I don't see how they're going to top this anytime soon. Really looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy 2. In my opinion, Avengers 2 is this bar is set so high for me to not be skeptical of Avengers 2. Naturally, I'm going to go see it, but for me to enjoy it as much as Guardians, I don't know. They're really going to have to go all out, and I don't know. Marvel might have screwed themselves by setting the bar this high. So they could get rid of the rest of the movies as far as I'm concerned. Just give me Guardians 2 and I'll be happy. So anyway, this is Count Chocula. I just thought I'd share some of my thoughts about the movie, and definitely go out and see it. You'll have to if you're ever going to see any more Marvel movies. This is the most important Marvel movie to date, and by far the best. It's 10 times better than the Avengers in my opinion. So go see the movie, and I will talk to you next time. Later, guys.